Hey, have you heard? Four-Legged Life has a new digital newsletter. Here, let me show you how you get yourself subscribed. So you just type in Four-Legged Life, and that'll take you to the website. There we go. And this magic thing just appears, and you type in your email address. I'll use, let's see, how about coolestdogever@gmail.com. That's me. And then you just click on this thing here. There you go. It's the new digital newsletter from Four-Legged Life. Get subscribed today.
He is, in my opinion, one of the world's top integrative veterinarians. So give it up for Dr. Rob Silver. I'm so glad you're on my show, Dr. Rob.
Me too, Arden. Thank you for that lovely intro.
It's all true.
It is true. He's
all right.
in a million.
Well, let's dive in. I mean, I love to eat mushrooms, the safe ones. They call it. I love some of the names. We know about shiitake mushrooms. We've heard of reishi mushrooms. One of my favorites from you guys and doing my research, turkey tail mushroom. Dr. Rob, gobble gobble. What is that?
Looks just like a turkey's tail. That's how it got its name. I mean, mushrooms have been around for millennia, beyond millennia. And so, as early humans, discovered them and described them and talked about them with each other, they mostly would describe them about how they look, like lion's mane looks like the mane of a lion, or a monkey head. I mean, turkey tail, if you look at it, it's got those beautiful bands of color across it, just like turkey tail. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So these cavemen on their hieroglyphics, there should be some mushroom drawings, I bet, right?
There are a few petroglyphs that we see with a mushroom or two in there. Not the turkey tail. I think generally the agaric type of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have anybody from caveman time to attest to that, but I'm just going to take your word for it, okay?
We actually do. There was actually a caveman who was found frozen in a glacier in the Alps in France, and when he thawed out, they found that he carried two types of mushrooms with him. One was used as a fire starter. It's called tinder conch, and it can, when it's dry, it catches fire very easily. And the other was called the birch polypore, which we believe he was probably using for intestinal parasites or something like that.
His name is Otzi the Iceman, if anybody wants to look him up.
Otzi, how do you spell that, Joey?
Otzi, I think it's O-T, is it O-T-S-I? O-T-Z-I. Yeah. Yes.
I can just see it now on Jeopardy. They're going to have a whole special show just dedicated to mushroom experts. You guys are going to smoke them. You're going to really win this.
Iceman, if they're searching for it, versus the caveman.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I gotcha. So, Joni, what the heck is Real Mushrooms as a company? And I know don't sound real commercial, but let's go for it. I mean, you guys do a lot of things, but you like, and I love the name Real Mushrooms. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, no, Real Mushrooms, it was started about 8 years ago, and on the human side, and the veterinary line was launched in March of 2022. Dr. Silver here at the helm, and when I heard that he was going to be, creating these wonderful mushroom products, I couldn't wait to join the company as well. But we call ourselves Real Mushrooms because there's, buyer beware, there's a lot of mushrooms out in the marketplace that are not actually mushrooms. And,
Thank you.
I don't know how deep you want to dive into this, but, the mushroom is the part of the, a fungus has three parts, what's called the fruiting body, or the actual mushroom, which is the above ground part. And then there's the spore, which is the reproductive part. And then there's the mycelium, which is the underground, even though mushrooms are, fungi are their own kingdom, they're not plants, but the closest you can compare it to is like the roots of a tree or the roots of a plant.
Okay.
That's the underground part, the mycelium. And there's a lot of companies out there that are making mycelium products and calling it a mushroom. I'm not going to speak to the quality. It's more the transparency around that, which is, let's say somebody said, would you like an apple? And handed you the roots of an apple tree. That just wouldn't, just wouldn't jive. So, just because of the transparency and the fact that we sell mushrooms, we don't, we don't sell mycelium. There's no filler, which unfortunately the mycelium, it grows in grain or rice, and there's no way to separate it from what it's growing in. So they grind it up. We call ourselves real mushrooms because we actually have real mushrooms in our product.
I also think you could be called fun guys.
Well, yeah, that's why I said I'm a fun
That's
gal.
really
and
bad.
Rob's a fun guy.
Rob's a fun guy.
gal.
And
she's the fun gal.
Yeah.
Gotcha. We do want to do a salute, though, because there's a gentleman, Jeff Chilton. He grew up in the Pacific Northwest. He's Canada. Now his son, Sky. So, Dr. Rob, tell us about these two. It's two generations.
Yep.
I met Jeff about 10 years ago. And because I invited him to come speak at a veterinary conference because he is the global expert on medicinal mushrooms and particularly on medicinal mushroom cultivation. So he's been cultivating a variety of different medicinal mushrooms for about 30 years. And
that's amazing.
And been, harvesting them and extracting them and growing them under organic standards and then selling them to other companies to use in their products. And as the interest in mushrooms increased amongst people, his son, Sky, and his other son, Adam, reached out to him and said, let's use your mushroom extracts, which are excellent, and let's start a company and create products for people, which they did. Right. And in 8 years, they have become incredibly popular as the mushroom extract to go to when you want to do something good for your health. So I was with another company, and when that company moved on and I moved on, I reached out to Jeff, and Jeff introduced me to Sky, and they said, "Oh, we were just thinking about getting something with animals. Good timing." So, and then when I heard Joni was joining, because I've known Joni for many years, we've worked in this industry, the animal health industry, for many, many years. And when I heard she was joining, it was like, wow, this is like the dream job, here.
The dream team, fun guy,
team.
Fun girl.
Yeah.
And Joni, I love I've heard you say that mushrooms, you love them so much, they will heal the planet. What do you mean by that?
I truly believe that. I mean, there's between 2 and when we're talking, I'll just say fungi, which includes molds and yeast, there's between 2 and 6 million different varieties. And, mushrooms are not, you can use them for culinary purposes, so you can eat them, you can use them for medicine, but there's also mushrooms that are cleaning up Chernobyl. I mean, there are mushrooms growing in Chernobyl that are literally consuming the radiation. And, they've been turning that into energy. One of my very favorite studies was a Japanese diaper study. They were trying to figure out what to do with the abundance of disposable diapers that were ending up in landfills. And they did an experiment where they sterilized the diapers and they injected them with oyster mushroom spore. And the diapers actually grew oyster mushrooms. They consumed the diaper. They used the diaper as food and grew oyster mushrooms. And these very brave scientists actually ended up eating the oyster mushrooms. So, they're the great recycler. They're now burying people in mushroom coffins. It's like, let's not do the embalming, all these things that, that are bad for the planet. Let's just put ourselves in a little mushroom sack and bury ourselves and become one with the earth. And, I mean, so that's what I mean.
All right. You have to both admit we're having fun, but we're also learning. I am getting schooled on all things mushroom by two of the arguably top experts in that category. And of course, we're speaking of Dr. Rob Silver and Joni Camlet. They're both with the company called The Real Mushrooms.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life. Make sure to subscribe so you're up to date with all of our Four-Legged Life content. Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life.